We'll call this meeting to order.
Please rise. Oh, yes, this county commission meeting of Sumner County is now open pursuant to adjournment. God bless this country and this honorable commission. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Weatherford. Our prayer tonight will be led by Ms. Barbara Malili. She moved to Hendersonville from Colorado 20 years ago. She joined Moms in Touch and became the county leader, praying for and with schools throughout Sumner County. In 2004, she joined weekly intercession at the Capitol and became a member of Tennessee Governmental Prayer Alliance. Now bringing the Tennessee Governmental Prayer Alliance to Sumner County, having a team regularly praying for our county, especially our governmental leaders. Thank you, Ms. Malili.
Thank you. You know, I spent the day going, okay, Lord, what do you want me to pray for these people who are giving so much of their lives and their time, sacrificing? And I could pray for an hour for you guys, but the Lord just took me right to Philippians. So I'm just going to pray straight from there because I believe in prayer. I've been at the Capitol, as he was saying, for 20 years. And now we're going to be praying regularly for you guys and all the leadership in Sumner County. So thank you for this opportunity. I thank God in my every remembrance of all of you. I offer prayer for you with joy. For I am confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will perfect it until the day of Jesus Christ. I pray that your love, even in this room tonight, will abound more and more in real knowledge and all discernment. I pray that you'll be of the same mind, maintain the same love, be united in spirit and intent on one purpose. And you're here not merely out of your own personal interest, because you are here for the interests of others. And I'm so grateful for that. And I ask you, Lord, to bring your peace, which surpasses all comprehension, all understanding, that you'll guard their hearts and their minds in Christ Jesus. And I pray and I declare that my God will supply all your needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Now to our God and Father be the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Also, please, as we go to the pledge, please remember to keep Billy and Denise Commendon in our prayers. We want to continue to lift them up.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's check our roll.
Roll call is now open. Each commissioner, please record your presence.
Yeah, Michelle is with her daughter tonight.
23 members present, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kemp. You've got your regular and consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Commissioner Foster, seconded by Commissioner Sullivan. See no one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Your minutes are in your packet. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Commissioner Commendon, seconded by Commissioner Kruger. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. I don't see anyone signed up for public comments. Is there anyone, or I'll let Mr. Weatherford do that. I won't steal his line.
Anyone wish to sign up that has not already?
Got on a roll there, Mr. Weatherford. All right. Just one announcement from the chair tonight. We've been following, we passed a resolution last month about emissions and trying to get it, encourage our legislative delegation to move it, because, we voted, I think, last February to pull out, to join the state in pulling out when given the opportunity. We had thought, our county attorney, Ms. Denon, had investigated and talked to Congressman Rose, and what we found out is that the legislature passed the law. We thought it was in D.C. It's technically still in Tennessee. We're waiting on Metro to figure out what they're going to do with it. Most of the other counties have joined us, but Metro is in the same region, so they're waiting on it. And Ms. Denon, does that encapsulate everything pretty well?
They're still going to have to test. They're not going to be able to get out.
Okay.
So they've got to do rulemaking for that purpose. But they told me that the 18-month standard that they normally have, they felt like they would be able to work a whole lot faster because they've already seen a draft. And as soon as they get the rulemaking done, which they were saying 60 to 90 days, we hopefully will be able to have something.
Okay, so right now it looks like our hope is 60 to 90 days, but I do think, as Mr. Hinton has helped us find, and I want to give him credit because he was the one that brought it back up to the forefront of our attention. The next 60 to 90 days, we'll need to keep our eye out and then follow up to make sure that it's not sitting on a desk somewhere between Nashville and Washington, D.C.
If I might say something, I'd encourage each and every one of them to call their state reps.
Yeah.
They were under the impression that it already on the worst. It hadn't.
Yeah, Mr. Hinton added that I think our state reps are under the impression that it's sitting in D.C. on a desk somewhere.
They know now otherwise. I sent that email to them.
Okay, and Ms. Denon has sent that email to our state representatives, but it's also good probably for us to follow up with them over the next few months. Okay, thanks everyone for their work on that. I think that's a good thing for our citizens in the county. I'm going to yield the floor now. Your veteran service report is in your packet, and I'm going to yield the floor now to Ms. DeWitt.
And if I could be joined up here by Griffin Johnson and his family. Come on up. All right, I have that happy occasion to present a certificate of recognition honoring Griffin Johnson. Whereas in July of 2019, Griffin Johnson, a member of Boy Scouts of America, Troop 75, earned his Eagle Scout rank, and in November has joined the prestigious Eagle Court of Honor, the highest rank attainable in the Boy Scouts of America. And whereas Griffin, who is a senior at Pope John Paul II High School, began his scouting career in 2009 as a Cub Scout and rose through the ranks with diligent work and dedication and earned 41 merit badges, 20 beyond the required 21, and demonstrated leadership by fundraising, organizing, and leading his Eagle Scout project. And whereas Griffin's service project consisted of 332 hours, approximately, exactly, of community service, building 10 buddy benches for playgrounds at 6 local schools in Sumner County. And he wrote and organized the filming of an instructional video and developed a curriculum for the principals and teachers to use in the classrooms where the students pledged to be a buddy bench friend. And whereas Griffin's exceptional efforts distinguish him as a leader in our community, and the buddy benches have already proven an invaluable asset to their elementary school campuses. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Sumner County Board of County Commissioners meeting in regular session on this 18th day of November that this body hereby congratulates and commends Griffin Johnson for his outstanding accomplishments and wishes him a happy and successful future. Congratulations. Thank you. And I so move.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner DeWitt, seconded by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Here, let's take a picture with Mr. Dyer. Thank you. All right. Does anybody want to say anything? You're welcome. Come on, just go for it.
It's an honor to be here. I had a great time doing my Eagle project, and I loved helping the county, which so much deserves way more than what I could offer, but it's the most I could do. So I'd like to say thank you.
Griffin, I wanted to tell you, I was at an event last week. Rucker Stewart does this amazing shake competition where they shake hands, learn to speak, practice things like that. And this was the debate round to see who gets to go to the national tournament, and they had to reduce it from 11 to 5. And one of the contestants was talking about your buddy bench and how they use that to prevent bullying and to provide places for kids to sit and welcome friends and have a place to chat. So your work is really already taking root, and they were very, very complimentary and appreciative of the bench that you made. So congratulations.
Thank you all. So good.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right, on the comptroller's thing, is there anything we need to do? Just recognize it?
It's got to be passed because David says it's got to be in the record.
Okay. And that's this, right? Okay, I'm going to read. We have to docket the Comptroller of the Treasury's receipt of the fiscal year 2020 budget. So I'm going to read this for the minutes. Dear Mr. Holt, Mr. Lawing, and members of the board, this letter acknowledges receipt of a certified copy of the fiscal year 2020 budget. We have reviewed the budget and determined that projected revenues and other available funds are sufficient to meet anticipated expenditures. Our review of the budget is based solely on the information we have received and is for determining that the budget appears to be balanced. With regard to programs included in the budget, such as education, roads, and corrections, we have not attempted to determine that the local government has complied with specific program statutes or guidelines or with any financing requirements prescribed by any state or federal agency. A property tax rate may be included in this budget, and we would recommend that local government officials be certain that all program requirements have been met before initiating the tax collection process. This letter constitutes approval by this office for the county's fiscal year 2020 budget as adopted by the County Commission. Considerations concerning the budget. The Office of State and Local Finance has determined that the county's budget meets basic statutory requirements, but we have detected a challenge outlined below that could possibly lead to financial problems in the future. Highway Public Works Fund. As part of the annual budget submission process required by TCA Section 9-21-403, the county provided cash balance information for the Highway Public Works Fund, the fund. An analysis of beginning and ending cash balances indicated that the fund is budgeted to have an amount of cash at the end of the fiscal year 2020 that is less than 1 month's average monthly spending. To ensure the county meets the statutory requirement to operate a cash basis balanced budget, the county's finance staff should provide the following information to the Commission if it does not already do so. An updated cash flow analysis for the fund showing actual data from the prior month and any changes to forecasted data, and a budget to actual report for the fund, including both revenue collections and expenditures. Please submit these reports to the Commission at each regular meeting. As part of a financially well-run county, we recommend that the county's finance staff provide the Commission these reports for all funds. If you need further assistance, please contact your financial analyst. You may also contact our office by mail at the address located at the bottom of this page. Please send it to the attention of your analyst at the Office of the State and Local Finance. Sincerely, Sandra Thompson, Director of the Office of State and Local Finance. We will docket that in our minutes. Okay. All right. At this point, I'm going to ask Mr. Kemp to read the public notice.
Sumner County County Commission will hold a public hearing on November 18th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Bethel Brown Commission Chambers of the Sumner County Administration Building located 355 North Belvedere Drive, Gallatin, Tennessee. The subject property is requesting a rezoning from Agricultural A to Commercial 2 Planned Unit Development C2 PUD for the purpose of operating an event venue. Subject property is located at 2990 Highway 31E, Bethpage, Tennessee, 37022. It is on tax map 084 parcel 050, contains 1.8 acres and is zoned A, agriculture. A copy of this notice is on file in the Sumner County Planning and Stormwater Department in the Sumner County Administration Building. Anyone having any interest or desiring to ask questions concerning the request is invited to attend the meeting.
We'll call the public hearing to order. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on this public notice for rezoning from the public? Okay. Seeing no one, we'll call the public meeting. We'll recess it. Is there a motion to approve this public notice? So moved, Mr. Chairman. Motion made by Mr. Graves. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Driver. I see no one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
That was the vote on the rezoning, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. All right. Consent agenda items. Is there a motion to approve our consent agenda? Motion made by Commissioner Eccles. Second by Commissioner Kruger. See no one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Notaries. Is there a motion to approve our notaries? Motion made by Commissioner Eccles, keeping the streak alive. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Sullivan. We're going to vote on this because we have to vote on the board on notaries.
Notary applications on the board. Each commissioner, please record your vote.
Okay.
22 votes are entered. Anyone not voting wishing to vote? Anyone wishing to change your vote? With 23 affirmative votes, the notaries are unanimously approved.
Okay, we need to backtrack a little bit. I read the comptroller's receipt. We actually have to approve that. So is there a motion made by Commissioner Ring, second by Commissioner Kruger? I see no one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, the reports of your standing committees are in your packet. Committee on Committees, Mr. Goode.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we met tonight in our regular scheduled meeting, November 18th, 2019, 6:30. The City of Gallatin reappointed to the Resource Authority that was been deferred, Mr. Lanham. It was unanimous in the committee, and I so move.
Motion made by Commissioner Goode, seconded by Commissioner Eccles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Goode.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The following was unanimous for a group and approve under Civil Service Board. I'm going to read those names. Ed Williams, Bryant Grant, and Leonard Melody all were reappointed, and it was unanimous in committee, group and approved, and I so move.
Motion made by Commissioner Goode, seconded by Commissioner Eccles. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Goode.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we did have in committee a change on Board of Construction and Appeals, and that is, it will show as Sean Utley would have been named as an alternate to a one-year reappointment. The motion was made. It was unanimous to move Mr. Utley up to Mr. Coates that was deferred and no longer wants to serve. So it was Mr. Utley moved up to a 3-year term, Henry Brown 3-year term, Ken Louis Allen 3-year term, and Larry Brown alternate 1. It was unanimous, and I so move.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Goode, seconded by Commissioner Eccles. See no one in the queue. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Please show Mr. Taylor, Commissioner Mo Taylor abstaining. Otherwise, it's 22-0, 1 abstention. Mr. Goode.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the county executive wanted me to point out that for anyone that knows anyone, we have an alternate open spot on this particular committee. Preferably as a citizen, preferably someone that's in the construction business. They do deal with codes. They don't meet that often. It meets when called. It is an alternative position for a one-year appointment. Mr. Executive, I'm sorry, County Mayor would like, if you have a recommendation, to contact him. Mr. Chairman, that's the business at hand. Next month's business for December is on there for your information, and that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Goode. Mr. Sullivan, Education.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Highway Commission, Mr. Hinton.
We found out at the last meeting that the Highway Commissioner informed us that she had paved 5% of the roads in Sumner County this year.
Wow.
That sounds pretty good until you figure out how long it's going to take to get to be 100%. That's all I have.
You never cease to amaze me, Mr. Hinton. Thank you for that report. General Ops, do we have a report? No report. Okay, no report. Emergency Services.
We met and decided we were going to voted to donate a service weapon to West Martin, and also have a report on the CTAS study that's on the volunteer fire.
Okay, let's do Mr. Martin's first,
Okay,
and then we'll
Mr.
come back to that.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that?
I need a motion.
Okay, make a motion that we approve to donate the service weapon to West Martin, please.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Wright. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
What's that?
Badge.
Yes.
His
yes.
badge and his weapon?
Weapon and badge.
Weapon and badge.
Without anybody's objection, we're going to let that read weapon and badge. So weapon and badge on that.
Okay.
And it passes unanimously. Okay, Ms. Kruger?
Next things are just for information only. CTAS study on volunteer fire. We should have a final report in on that mid to late December. Of course, counting the fact that there's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas, but they still said mid to late December. So
Okay.
we'll see. We hope for that to come back by then and time for us to start planning for next year. And our new ECC director, Marilyn Anderson, starts this Friday. She's coming to us from Maryland, D.C. area, so Virginia, Maryland, D.C. area. So she starts this Friday and has 23 years of experience, and we're looking forward to her getting started.
Great.
And that's it.
Great. I was talking, just an update, I was talking to Chief Miller the other day, and they were meeting with the Life Flight Company. It looks like the services will be ready to start around the 1st of December. So everything's going really well there, just for an update that I heard also there. Legislative, Mr. Ring.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 11-19-1104, acknowledging an intergovernmental agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the City of Millersville, for the replacement of the old Shiloh Road Bridge with no cost or obligation to Sumner County. I so move.
Motion made by Commissioner Ring, seconded by Commissioner Kruger. This has been an ongoing battle in that area for a long, long time. This is great for the citizens of that area. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Ring.
Thank you. Resolution 19-1105, a resolution adopting the audiovisual owl policy.
Okay.
Be it resolved by the Sumner County Commission of County Commissioners, meeting in regular session of this 18th day of November 2019, this body hereby adopts the audiovisual owl policy as shown in the attachment herewith, and it is on the back of that page.
Okay.
And I so move.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Ring, second by Commissioner DeWitt.
May I just say something, is that the committee has been working long and hard on this, and I appreciate their efforts.
Yeah. Commissioner Mansfield.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had just two minor things that wanted to move that this resolution be amended with. One thing that I don't think we caught the other day in the ad hoc, we've made a change on one of the line, so this kind of corrects that. It's under scope. It's strictly where it says that chairs the committee has discretion, and just removing the words have discretion and replacing or adding with the word is to record. And the reason is according to the county law director from the October 15th minutes, it was just stated that this resolution did not allow for the committee chairman to opt in or out of this. And so we had made that edit on a previous line and just missed that there. So it's just strike out has discretion, add is. And just had a point of clarification down under the bottom section. It says the ITD is responsible for. I just read the first time to read this line since committee last week. Wanted to modify the sentence, I guess the bottom point that says videos will be uploaded to YouTube. Basically, I wanted to change that to say videos will be uploaded to YouTube and retained for as long as the service allows. The way this kind of reads, it makes it, I think it could be misconstrued to say it might be taken down after a year. Just wanted to, YouTube, there's no limitation on what you can do it. It's just kind of at the mercy of the service, which that sub-bullet talks about. So my suggestion was to amend that to say videos will also be used to store locally for 1 year and annually moved to long-term county storage to conserve space as well to finish that. So the full sentence would read, videos will be uploaded to YouTube and retained for as long as the service allows. You could put a period. And then videos will also be stored locally for 1 year and annually moved to long-term county storage to conserve space. That's kind of the intent of the resolution. And after talking with Dennis, confirming that. So that was just a clarification on that point as well. So it's not misconstrued.
Okay. Mr. Tinsley and then Ms. Denning.
Second.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got a motion and a second. Mr. Tinsley.
Mr. Chairman, the speaker who is offering these amendments sits on that committee, and we discussed all of these proposals, well, the second proposal more in depth than the first proposal in the committee, and it was not added during the committee process which he sat upon, and it was approved unanimously.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tinsley. Ms. Denning.
Can I make a statement? I don't, and Mr. Mansell, I think you're reading a different scope into this. What I think under scope meant was that the committee chairman has the discretion to do the recording or appoint somebody on the committee to do it.
Okay, so is that what they?
That's the way I read it.
That's what
Okay,
I thought was meant, because they figured there might be some chairman that wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, and they could appoint somebody else on that committee to do it.
Okay, that's fine. And do what?
That language
That's what
is
it says.
That's what it said. That language is in there currently. What it reads now is this policy applies to standing and ad hoc Sumner County meetings, whereas the commissioner that chairs the committee has discretion to record and/or designate another commissioner on the committee to operate the video recording system. I think that says what you're intending.
If that's the intent from the
That,
law
that,
director.
that was my understanding.
that's how it
yeah.
Okay,
reads.
great. Well, yeah,
pretty clear.
I was in the meeting as was previously stated, but this was brought to our attention before we had time to read it. And so
Sure.
you didn't have time to read it while the speakers were speaking during the meeting. So had we had this in advance, I probably could have caught that. Well, then I guess
If you'd like, we can, if the maker and second are good with taking out the first
we'll
part,
take
that's
out that
fine.
first part is fine.
Okay. All right.
And the second part was just clarification, and I can reread that again if necessary. It's just to expound a little further to make it where it doesn't read like the videos will be taken off YouTube after a year, which could be interpreted that way. So I just wanted to make sure it says something a little closer to the videos will be uploaded to YouTube and retained for as long as the service allows. I do understand we're at the mercy of YouTube, which that second one covers. And then adding stored locally for 1 year and annually moved to long-term county storage to conserve space.
Okay. All right, Mr. Witt?
I just wanted to echo, I do think that Mr. Mansfield is bringing up the things that we discussed in committee and that we thought would be included in the policy. You know, there were those couple amendments that, so I agree with both of those amendments, and I do think that the term "has discretion" is, I thought we were going to fix that so it didn't sound like the committee chair has discretion. I feel like it's...
I think it reads pretty clearly, Mr. Witt. I'm going to side with the law director on this, because I think it very clearly says that the commissioner that chairs the committee has discretion to record and/or designate, to record him or herself, or designate another commissioner on the committee to operate. I think that one's pretty clear.
I just want to point out that, I think we had talked about both of these and had agreed that we would adjust to make sure it's clear. And the second point, I agree that clarifies what we intended in the policy.
Okay, so I think what we're saying on the second part is that videos will be uploaded to YouTube to stay there for the duration and then housed locally in long-term storage, or housed for a year and then moved to long-term storage.
Conserve space as necessary, correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Okay. Okay, so we'll say that it was 22-1. Show Mr. Tinsley voting no. Okay, now we'll go to the main motion. Thank you, Mr. Becker. A little under the weather, a little off my game tonight. Okay, so back to the main motion as amended, 1911-05. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Okay, please show Commissioner Mo Taylor voting no. Otherwise, it's 22-1, passes. All right, financial management, Mr. Becker.
Yes, this month's meeting was canceled, but I just wanted to make everyone aware that next month's meeting, there's going to be a joint meeting with the Budget Committee on Monday, December the 9th at 6 p.m. So our normal meeting would have been the week following, but Monday, December 9th at 6 p.m. for the Financial Management Committee, and we will be discussing issuance of a bond for the new school campus. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Chris Taylor, budget.
I'm going to grab up that one, Mr.
Which one?
The big one there, because I got Am I good? I know I'm not supposed to touch buttons, so. Mr. Committee, thank you. Real quick, and I won't torture us because we're on a really good time frame right now. A couple things came up, and to steal a line from Mo, I had a couple constituents come in to talk to me, and it came up about the Cormer barn. And the concern was, hey, if we keep kicking this can down the road, we've got a $250,000 grant that expires in March if we don't use it. More importantly, that property will eventually revert back to the Rogers Group if we don't do something permanent with it. So we looked at the biggest obstacles that we felt came up last time when we had public hearings about it, and we had discussion in here. In no specific order, there were three of them. First and foremost was the way we were going to pay for it. Another one was the impact, the negative impact it was going to have on local businesses and smaller venues. And then another part was just necessarily how, money, how it's going to impact everybody else. And I'm forgetting one. Which one is it, Mr. Committee? Yes, thank you. There were questions about the Rogers Group and the deed that it would get, thank you very much, Tina, that it would go back to the Rogers Group. So what we've done is to try and address all those, and this is just for information only, so nobody needs to get worried about it. We're not asking anybody to vote for anything tonight. We just want to put it out there so everybody hears it, and if we're comfortable with it, we'll move it back to general ops. But for the first part, for the money, what we've looked at is I'm kind of a big thing about cost neutral. It's got to be a cost neutral thing where it doesn't impact the county for, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Tyler.
This is nowhere on the agenda.
It's part of my report, sir.
It's part of his
for
report.
information only.
As long, we're going to let him report and see what he's going to do, and then you can renew your point of order.
So a potential expense of $3.5 million.
No, there's nothing on the budget tonight. There's no money that can be spent, but we can listen to him
That's why I
make.
said potentially.
Well, we're going to listen to him and let him finish, and then I'll rule on your point of order.
Thank you.
One of the big concerns we said was obviously the money. We want to make sure it's cost neutral for the county. So what we looked at, and Mr. Gaminden had a fantastic idea. We talked to the law director, talked to Mr. Long's to make sure we were available to do this, and tourism was on board. What we're going to do instead, because it is related to economic development, is we're going to borrow the money from the hospital fund. And there's going to be a contract. It's not going to be a loan, but it's going to be written as a contract between tourism and the county, where whatever funds are needed to redo the Cormer Barn and some of the associate property will be repaid dollar for dollar with the revenues generated by the Cormer Barn. It might take 5 years, it might take 10 years. We're kind of looking at it almost like a TIF, but without the tax part. And what we said was that's not any taxpayer money because it's from the sales of the hospital. Secondly, it's for economic development, but our concern was if we keep spending all that money, there won't be anything in the hospital fund. So Mr. Gaminden's idea, which I really loved, was we're going to use it for economic development, but it's going to be paid back from the revenue generated by that economic development. So that way, again, it's still going to be cost neutral. Barry's been willing to step up and take a lot of the responsibility that's going to come from running it, and tourism's going to be the one to schedule it and do a lot of other things. So we feel like we've got that addressed in a way that is legal, is fiscally responsible, and more importantly, doesn't put anything on the taxpayers. One of the big concerns, obviously, was the lease. In talking with Ms. Denham and County Mayor Holt, the big issue was Rogers Group really just wanted us to have something on paper that says, hey, here's how we're going to do it, and then they'd be more than willing to relinquish it. There was a portion in the negotiations that had come about, hey, if we don't do it right, that they get it back. County Mayor Holt has talked with them, and that's something that we can take out and that we'll get rid of. And when they agree to it, when they see that we actually have something on paper that we're bidding something out, they're more than willing to sign and do whatever we need to and talk with Ms. Denham so that we don't have to worry about it ever reverting back. So it'll be county property, it'll be a county building. The third was the negative impact, and this is a big one. Got a lot of people here. And so what we've said was, okay, what's a way we can use that facility that will generate income for the county, generate income for itself so it's self-sufficient, but doesn't impact anybody negatively? Well, we said a couple things. One, immediately, one of the things that tourism doesn't allow with their building is weddings. So we said no weddings at the Cormer Barn ever can be held. And we want to put that into writing as a part of it because that's a big part that's going to hit a lot of the venues. A lot of them do wedding planning. If you don't have anything like that, that helps right away. Second is we're not going to have a kitchen in there, any type of kitchen resource. So it's not going to be a restaurant. It's not going to be anything else. You're not going to cook or do anything in there. Our thinking is, and I've got a list from Barry, and I'll read real quick. When we say, well, how are we going to, what events are going to be here? Because we don't want to impact anybody that's already got an event venue. We just approved one tonight. Well, there's been 7 events that we had in the past, that we could have had in the past year or so that we had to pass. One of them was a youth conference that had 1,500 youth at it. And Barry, I remember talking to Barry this summer about it. We didn't have anywhere big enough in the county. So it's not that we're going to take business from anybody because these are events that we can't have in this county because we don't have a venue that supports it right now. So this will immediately address some of those concerns, and that's going to let us do it. For the 1,500 one with the youth, they were wanting to place an activity day. Barry wanted to keep it in the mid-state area, talked to them, got them plugged in with Wilson County at the time because they did have something. But I want you all to think about the fact, and I'm not going to torture you with numbers or a PowerPoint. If you've got 1,500 people staying here for 2 or 3 days, even if it's 4 kids to a hotel, that's still about 300 hotels. Not to mention for 2 or 3 days. And there's probably 7 events that we can think of right offhand that he's had to turn down. Where they've called, it's not been him trying to recruit them, him going out trying to find them. They've called us saying, hey, we'd like to have an event here. And, well, we can't do it because we don't have the facility. Then again, there's probably about 20 events that he has listed. And again, I'll read them out to you, but I think it's better spent, unless you want me to, just discussing it. And these are events that we know we can have, and they're not going to impact other people. And here's where the real big benefit when you say economic development. If we've got a movie night that brings in food trucks, if we've got a large conference that comes in and puts up tents and caters 1,500 people, well, where are their food coming from? It's not coming from the Cormer Barn, because we've already said they're not going to do a kitchen. They're not going to do anything like that, because we don't want them competing with local businesses. It's not economic development if you're taking it from your own businesses. So that's going to enlist all the caterers. And it's going to be, you know, the goal is hopefully in 3 to 4 years to have 100 days worth of the year with events there. So that starts generating money there. And then second, tourism is going to come up with a fee schedule for renting it and what it's going to cost for these different venues. Well, part of that's going to be a cleaning fee. Everybody that has an event out there is going to have to clean up afterwards. I'm pretty sure that we don't let anybody just clean up after themselves. And I can say that from being around Metro's parks and the way they work their permits. That's another business that's going to be a local business that we're going to have to contract. Someone's going to have to pay, these events are going to have to pay local people to come in and clean the business, clean the areas, do all of that. Second part, and kind of more important, is we want to make sure the county gets something out of it. It's going to be a county building, and it is being funded initially with county money to be paid back by the revenue. Well, I'm kind of trying to kill two birds with one stone here, so we talked to Miss Ashley. And one of the big things that you may not be familiar with, but in budget we are, because she's brought it up for 2 years now, is there's a problem having a good location for voting. We've used this building. This building's had a lot of issues. I think we can all understand, the problem with not being able to put cameras and different things. There's been issues with parking, running into day-to-day business. She's brought up a couple different locations. One was the old Walmart in Hendersonville. There was another place in Gallatin and different spots to release. So what we've said is, well, you know what? Why do we need to do that? If we can use the Cormer Barn, and because of the way it's spaced out, you can move elections out there, and you can have elections there. And she couldn't make it tonight, but one of the things she wanted me to bring up to you was what's hurt our voter turnout, in her opinion, is that we have had to change different areas where we have voters. We've changed the voting locations a couple times because we've had to, because we haven't had something permanent that we could always use. Her feeling was that if we can use the Cormer Barn as a permanent site for voting, and their offices would be there, tourism controls the calendar, but the 2 weeks that you have voting, it's on there, and there's no events going on out there during that time. It's got ample parking. It's between Hendersonville and Gallatin, two of our largest cities. It's going to service about 110,000 people right there, not to mention Goodlettsville and everywhere around. Lori was very excited at the idea of putting it out there. Again, I want everything to be cost neutral as we can, so we're not paying for their offices to be set up. So what that does is that's included in the bid to build office space into the Cormer Barn for the Election Commission, with one office for tourism so they can do the scheduling. Now, that also has a secondary effect here in this building. I think we're all familiar with the fact that County Mayor Holtz had to redo the above us, and they're using archives and everywhere else to find office space for people. New engineering, different things we're trying to do. It's a county that's growing. Regrettably, government's going to grow with it, and we're going to have more space. We don't want to have to build another building anytime soon. So if we can move the Election Commission out, that's going to free up all that room for any other things that we might have to use over the next 5 years. And the hope is, again, long-term planning. And we've talked about that, is if you move elections out, then that puts off having to build any more buildings here or anything extra for at least 5 more years. Because there shouldn't be that much growth here as far as personnel, and whatever's done will be able to be handled by that and what County Mayor Holt's already done. So just kind of recap what we're asking for. If there's big issues we've missed, we just want you to let me know, Mr. Gamenden and Barry. And what we'll do is we'll go back to the drawing board and try and make sure that it's solved everything. The Cormer Barn needs to be done soon, though, because, again, that's that $250,000 grant that's getting ready to expire in March. The 3 things we thought were a problem, local businesses, I think we've addressed that in a way that will accentuate what they've got and really drive up business for the catering and a lot of the other people. It's not going to challenge any of our local venues because it's events that they can't do anyway. The money is going to be, for once, set up in a neutral way where it's taken from the hospital fund but replenished over the next so many years in a contract that strictly defines the revenues that have to go there, so that we're not just depleting a fund over and over. I'm really happy with that one. And also, we're going to get to move the county election office out there, and we don't have to pay for the office space or anything else. It's not like we're leasing it from the Cormer Barn. It's our building. We're already there. And they're going to be paying for it with the revenue from there. And then the last part was the lease part. County Mayor Holt and Ms. Denham have been very adamant that when speaking with the Rogers Group, that will not be an issue at all. And here's what I want y'all, I'm just going to ask. If we're comfortable with it, I'd like to move it to the general ops agenda for next month. And what we'd like to see done is we obviously have some guidelines for, what the Comer Barn needs to be done in this, as far as redoing it. And then they need to have an outside platform. It needs to have turning lanes added, different things like that. And we want it to be bid out as an entire project. I think we've learned our lesson with JPA and how we do stuff, and to have a project manager assigned to it. That grant money can be used for the project manager already. So then the idea is they bid it out, this project manager's overseeing it. It comes back to general ops, and I don't know if it's going to be $1 million. I don't know if it's going to be $2 million. I have no idea what the price will be. It'll be whatever the contractors bid. So they may have a great idea that's $1 million, and it might be one that's $2 million that opens even more doors. I have no idea. It just depends on what the contractors bring back. And then we defer to general ops, obviously, to pick what bid they want to move forward. And at that point, it would come before this whole body again to approve before we ever spend a dime on it. Just a thought. We're trying to get things done a little bit sooner. Again, if there's some more issues or something we haven't thought about, let me know so we can get it done beforehand. Mr. Committee, do you want to add anything?
The only thing I would like to say, and I wish that we could call the hospital fund a revolving loan account, which we can't, but I do like the idea of what money we take out of that fund being put back in there for somebody else, for another project to be used later on. And I'd like to, 10 years from now, if I'm able, drive by the Comer Barn and see that it's fixed up, and I'd like to say, well, I know there's where some of the hospital fund money went to. I don't know where the rest of it went, but anyway. And I think the location is absolutely perfect for early voting or for elections in a good place. And I do know that last year when we had the election here, certain times of the day you had to park at Walmart and walk over here, and they were parking in the grass, and that was okay till it rained and then made a muddy mess. But anyway,
I think honestly, gentlemen, thank you for your report. I think that probably the best course of action, since this involves a county building, county property, is for it to start in legislative, as you suggested, Mr. Taylor. I'm sorry, not legislative. Gen Ops. So to me, that seems like that's the most logical place for it to come. Thank you for the update and the report, but I do think that the appropriate place for it to begin is in General Ops and then to come through budget that way. So I think, Michelle can take that up on her time frame with General Ops.
And I didn't do this because she's not here. I actually talked to her.
Mr. Goode?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's nothing obviously to add, but if you need that in the form of a motion to add that to the agenda, I would say add it to general ops.
No, I don't really think we need a motion because I think it's a county building. I think it naturally starts there and then comes to budgets.
Makes sense.
Because right now we have no idea what the dollar amount's going to be, so I think it goes to general ops and then to budget. I think that's a natural process on it. Commissioner Taylor.
All right, now 1911-06, it's a goodness gracious, requesting $5,433.30 contribution for building fees for Habitat for Humanity. I make the motion. This is where we waive their fees.
Motion made by Commissioner Chris Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Ring. Commissioner Taylor.
And it did come up about nonprofits in the discussion about this, and hopefully the nonprofit committee will be able to address this too when it comes up. But for right now, it's something we have done in the past, and it's not something we can plan for because we don't necessarily know how many they're going to build each year. So we're kind of at their loss.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Chris Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Baker Ring. No one else in the queue. Let's vote.
Resolutions on the board. Each commissioner, please record your vote.
It looked like a four-way tie.
22 votes are entered. Anyone not voting wish to vote? Anyone wish to change your vote? With 22 affirmative votes, it is approved on first and final reading.
All right, before we go to our last motion, I would like to let everyone know, Compass has asked that we invite everybody tomorrow at Welch College. Each year they bring in a group of teachers from different schools around the county. legislators come out from the state legislature and they meet and talk and brainstorm together. That's in the morning, Welch College, starting at 8:30. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Commissioner Foster. We're adjourned.